I hope you are not a vegetarian, because this show is nothing but beef. Welcome to the Because Cannabis Podcast. I hope you're watching a video right now, people. Whether you're on Spotify on Thursdays, whether you're watching New Show on Wednesdays. I'm rocking. Look, Dustin, I got these for free. These are Verano. Some freebie shades. Thank you, Verano. Why am I wearing Verano shades, you might ask, to open up the Because Cannabis Podcast? Easy for me to say. Because I'm cool as shit, Dustin Kava. I'm BC Wayman. What's up, man? Where's the shades at? Weren't you? We know we got a show about beef today. All the cool podcasts, they wear shades all the time because they're all high and stuff. We're all high and don't wear glasses. We're not hiding it behind the shades. You can see the red in our eyes every day. Every Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. Watch the crackling fire behind Dustin's eyeballs, weed hidden in his beard.
I probably do have some type of crumbs of some.
You should have worn some shades. Oh, look cool. Is this a look? Is this a look I should rock? Should I rock? Oh shit.
Yo, I
hope you are watching on video right now, because this podcast, the Because Cannabis Podcast, which has a brand new episode every Wednesday, 4:20 p.m. on YouTube, on Thursdays, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts, Dustin.
We look like a bunch of assholes. Look at these fucking.
Is that different than how we normally look? That's the real question. Let us know after you subscribe to the show in the comments. Do we look more like assholes, or is assholes how we normally look? Welcome to the Because Cannabis Podcast, everyone. Why we got shades on today? Why we talking cool? Let me just give you a tease, as they say in the biz, Dustin. There, put it back up. There it is. Oh yeah. Looking cool. We got cabbages looking cool. We got cabbages looking cool. My name's BC Wayman. That's Dustin Kava. I try to look cool, Dustin. I wear sunglasses all the time. Are you a sunglass guy? Do you wear shades out a lot? I wear shades almost exclusively when I am outside, sometimes awkwardly. So I've even gotten, though I don't feel comfortable pulling them off, I have a pair of rose-tinted RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, like billionaire glasses that are light pink, that have that shade, which hide kind of the eyes, which kind of cut the sun. But I feel like when I wear those, like I am not cool enough to pull off the rose-colored, opaque see-through glasses. But
I think I only like women's sunglasses. I fucking hate any sunglasses that are for men. Like I like big fucking tortoiseshell.
It's like 2024, man. You can wear any sunglasses you want. I don't think you just genderized shades, bro. That's what just happened. You just genderized eyewear.
Don't fucking cancel me. I need this job.
Well, there's some people being canceled right now on the internet. We're fired up. There's like Drake and Kendrick Lamar. That's what I just learned this past week, Dustin. I got two beefs we're going to highlight today during the Because Cannabis. Man, I am off my game today. On the Because Cannabis Podcast, we got two beefs. Happy Cabbage v. Verano, Glass House v. Catalyst Cannabis Co. Those two beefs right now are blowing up. And if I had to say, Dustin, I'm a purveyor of the social webs. I have got my finger on the pulse of the internet. I know how to www.things.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I am in tune with what the hip generation is talking about. And so where do you think I learned about all these beefs? Pick a place. I know you know it. Pick the place that I found out where all these beefs in the business world are happening.
Cannabis beef is not X or Twitter. I thought it would be, but it ain't. I think the beef starts with the big boys in blue, LinkedIn.
It starts and ends on LinkedIn. We got beefs happening in the cannabis world, and we need to break them down, Dustin Kava. So let's start right up.
Clutch news was big news. We got some big beef coming.
It is happening. Last week, if you didn't check out the show last week, the Botanist v. Clutch Cannabis in Ohio battle for things about paying bills, holiday bills, cannabis bills, and those things. This week, Dustin, we got Happy Cabbage versus Cabbage Club. First of all, where are you at with words to represent weed that aren't actually weed, of which clearly cabbage is? So Verano has a thing, and we'll break this down here in just a second. Basically, Verano has a kind of a premium membership, like a loyalty program. The fans of the program, they're part of the Cabbage Club, right? They're like the Swifties for Verano. They're the Cabbage Clubs. And then there is another company called Happy Cabbage, which is Verano is a big time cannabis retailer. They're multi-state. They sell you a lot of weed in some state you're in. They're here in Ohio where Dustin and I are. Happy Cabbage is a software company that does like retail driven analytics and tells you data about how to best sell your weed. They're gonna be out of business in 3 years. Sorry, guys. They're like, sorry, I'm so sorry to say, to break the truth. We know this. I love you. What you were doing is awesome. I just don't know if analytics on retail sales of cannabis is where the future is for anybody. So we got Happy Cabbage in Cabbage Club, but both of them have the term cabbage. Clearly is a wink, wink emoji. We're not talking about weed, but we're avoiding like we deal with when we named our show, because cannabis, like social media copyrights and strikes, banks shutting you down.
Select vegetables. I usually go with dinner. Hey, you want to go get some dinner? Which is more like, let's go smoke a fatty.
Wasn't it behind the barn? Isn't that what you said one time? You used to go behind the barn is where you had to take people. You had all these like phrases and houses. You're very much into construction themed terms. Most people go plants. You go construction. Yeah, want to go check out the patio? No, you get a patio. No, I mean smoke weed. I feel like today's age.
I'm not confusing at all. I definitely think cabbage is more on the head.
Well, you have food names. You want to go hit a hog leg in the dinner table? I'm assuming like we're going to eat. When you say, hey, you want to have a hog leg for dinner? I'm going to like, that's an awkward choice. Sure. Dustin loves the term hog legs for a giant fatty full of weed.
True, I do.
So Happy Cabbage. So I like it. I'm not sure. That's how I used to, by the way, when emojis first came into the phone, right? It used to be like random words you would say to avoid it. But then when the emojis came in, especially the first few years, it was always either the broccoli emoji. Typically the broccoli emoji is what you would use, like got broccoli, right? Or something like that. Broccoli
like what?
time.
No cop looking over your fucking messages is going to know like what fuck.
I need my vitamin
broccoli.
D
and
my other minerals and essential vitamins inside my body.
Yeah.
I don't even heat it up. I don't cook it because that's where all the minerals go. They go into the air. I like to make sure I get it raw, right into the system.
God, I really wish.
So you're over using other plants to talk about this particular plant. By the way, we need a term. I feel like using the word beef in a plant v plant company battle feels a bit of a misnomer. I would like to find a new word that represents when beefing happens in the cannabis industry or in like between vegans and stuff. Like when
they're keefing, bro.
We're whating?
They're keefing.
No. I thought you said something
queefing
else.
Or something.
That's what I thought you said. And I was like, I don't think that's the word. That's good. And then I was like, maybe he meant quiching, like quiche, right? Like it's that kind of thing. What should be like if you know a word, put it in the comments below. If you're listening to us on YouTube, if you have subscribed, because you're cool. What would you call a plant company versus a plant company, or a vegan versus a vegan battle? Like, what's the terminology that we should use? That's what I need to find out today. All right, let's break down this beef. So we got Happy Cabbage, the Cabbage Club. And I know you're like, how did this break down? How did this happen? How did a cannabis company begin a feud with a analytics company in this industry? Well, here's what happened. So Darren Weiss, who is the president of Verano, national president, right? Happy Cabbage. And by the way, you guys rocked it. Whatever happens, Happy Cabbage wins, because everyone had heard of Verano. No one had heard of Happy Cabbage. You know who knows who Happy Cabbage is now? Like 8 more people, but those 8 fucking people might be someone. That's what happens when your battle plays out. You know what? We're going to give them about 45 more people right now. Here we go. So here's what happens. It has come to our attention. This is from the official Happy Cabbage LinkedIn post, because that's where the battles happen in the cannabis industry. That Verano is using the brand name Cabbage Club for their kind of subscription service. Subscriptions? I thought it was a loyalty program. You're telling me it's a subscription service? Oh my God. Of course it is. So they have a simple solution to rectify. I am talking all over the place today, Dustin. You might have to take the mic. To rectify this trademark infringement. Shout out to you. Here was their suggestion, Dustin Kava.
Let's hear it.
Rap battle.
Oh, I think this is how every dispute should be saddled in the saddled. I think it should be settled in the industry.
So here's the open letter they wrote. I'm Brad Bogus. Totally feel like that's fake. From Happy Cabbage, come to our attention. You're using the mark Cabbage Club. Here's where you can tell this is starting to go off the rails in their official letter. Please be advised that Happy Cabbage holds all rights to the use of cabbage as it relates to all things culinary, gardening, sports, recreation, and of course, cannabis marketing galactically, internationally, and within the United States. So I don't know where the documentation is, but they're saying they hold it for the universe. I believe it. Totally believe it. And so the CEO of Happy Cabbage, Andrew Watson, has thrown down the gauntlet. It would like a rap battle and is going to be awaiting the acceptance with, of his terms, blood in his eyes and foam in his mouth. Like they're all in on this. So be warned, Andrew Watson, CEO of Happy Cabbage, has a long history of verbally shredding his competitors in the field of rap battle. So that's great on a resume, by the way. Run an analytics company, also lyrically gifted. If you wish, they even gave him a time and date to battle over this. So you're seeing this, right? You're a small upstart company. You're doing cannabis analytics and retail. You hear this term, you think, hey, this is a funny thing. You probably run it by a lawyer or two just in case to make sure that you're not going to get dinged. Do you like their idea? And you don't know if Darren is even going to respond. Like you're just putting it out there. What do you think about this, Dustin, as just a concept for a, kind of an upstart, like spunky little company to kind of go after a big company, but not like Clutch versus Botanist, what basically shamed them and said, bro, you're not paying bills? Fuck you. Like they went all in. Here, Happy Cabbage, and I don't think they have official trademarks, is playful, but with a big boy.
I don't know, man. You know what it seems like? Think about the term analytics company. Don't you picture like a bunch of fucking, I don't know, Microsoft nerds sitting in a fucking office being like, like I don't know. I don't picture them cool enough to rap battle. I picture their rap battle being like Steve Ballmer screaming on the stage. Like,
here's their website here. Revenue made easy, right? Dispensaries to optimize inventory, maximize sell-through. When you use the terms like maximize sell-through, you don't picture yourself as someone who's like going to toss down the gauntlet, in that battle of rap area. So their website's very business oriented. It's young. It's got some cool younger folk imagery there in the millennial age, but it's very much a corporate-y, data, fun kind of website, right?
oh yeah.
But Happy Cabbage, in this case, if you're watching online right now, hopefully you are. We got a lot of great video today. We're showing a lot of this footage that's on LinkedIn. So in these posts, if you're checking it out on Spotify or on YouTube. So they put it out there. I think it's fun. I'm really impressed that Happy Cabbage did it. I think a lot of times people are fearful to kind of overstep their boundaries, or they're so aggressive that it becomes uncomfortable. Like Clutch got a little aggressive right off the rip, but hey, they're talking money now. This isn't so much money lost, but you have a company that's looking to put their name out. I'm all in on it. But when I saw this, I in no way, shape, or form, because I've met too many cannabis CEOs and presidents, and big MSO cannabis presidents are usually suits, right? Without roots, as Andrew D'Angelo likes to say. They're usually a little stuffy. So I didn't think he'd respond, Darren Weiss from Verano. But lo and behold, not only did he respond, it went into a multi-round rap battle. Let me find the particular one here. All right, let me find this real quick. All right, so yeah, so the whole thing, they had this rap battle back and forth. Here's what I wanted. So here's the whole thing back and forth, right? Like multiple times. And so Darren Weiss comes up. I'm just going to read you some of this. I'm not going to rap it, Dustin. I'm not lyrically gifted. I wish I had a beat to like put behind me here. So Darren Weiss via LinkedIn drops this. Yo, we're the king of this green. Cabbage clubs our domain. Repping the West, making moves like a high-speed train. In this cannabis biz, our game's off the charts. Your analytics can't compete. Don't even start.
You sound like Richard Cheese.
Happy Cabbage, I see ya trying to flex within the data. But when I'm through, you'll be crying for your mama. See ya later. Our club's got the vibes. Community's tight-knit. Your software's outdated. Can't match my clicks wit.
That is not what I read there.
We're lighting it up with the finest buds, no doubt. Got our customers singing our praises with every shout. Our strains got our swag flying off the shelf while you're stuck trying to analyze someone else's wealth. One more verse here. So step aside, our cabbage reigns supreme. Our strains are the freshest, and so is our team. In this industry game, we ain't got time for chatter. Cabbage Club is where it's at, and that's all that matters. The mic's my crown, and the rhymes never lag. I just bodied your cabbage. Time to wave the white flag! Thank you, by the way.
Okay, Darren, throwing down.
So Darren throws down. And this goes on, by the way. This now starts a multi-round rap battle. Darren puts one out. Andrew responds back. Darren responds in again, by the way, and keeps going back and forth. And it gets so intense, Dustin. And it gets, you know, it's a video-driven world these days. It's hard sometimes to concentrate. It's a lot of words to read on screen. You don't have my golden dulcet tones to read you lyrics like you did. So they went a step further. They went a step further, Dustin.
Ooh.
They hit the AI. So they took the lyrics. So this should be totally clear here. Took the lyrics of these raps, fed them into an AI music video generator.
Oh, let's hear this.
Gold was fucking mine.
Yo, we're the king of this green. Cabbage clubs, our domain. Reppin' West, making moves like a high-speed train. In this cannabis biz, our game's off the charts. Your analytics can't compete, so don't even start. Happy Cabbage, I see you trying to flex with the data. But when I'm through, you'll be crying for your mama. See you later. Our clubs got the vibes, communities tight-knit. Your software's outdated, can't match my clicks with.
See, it was Clit, by the way.
I thought it was clit with. I was like,
I
huh?
know, but I read it right.
We lighten it up with the finest buzz, no doubt. Got customers singing our praises with every shout. Our strains and our swag flying off the shelf while you're stuck trying to analyze someone else's wealth. So step
Is this
aside.
an AI, or do you think it's like
our strains
guy
are
like
and so is our team. In
cameo,
this
like
industry
record
game, we ain't got time
this
for
feels
chat.
very like
Cabbage
someone
Club where it's
recorded
at,
it,
and that's all that matters.
but it could also be AI.
Yeah, it could be a guy named Al, and we're just reading it wrong.
So step aside, our cabbage reigns supreme. Our strains are the freshest, and so is our team. In this industry game, we ain't got time for chatter. Cabbage Club where it's at, and that's all that matters. This mic's my crown, and my rhymes never lag. I just body Joe Cabbage, time to wave the white flag.
That's what's happening. Dustin.
What guy
Else
doing?
to the yeah. We got rap battles happening in the world. So all ends well. That ends well, by the way. That post we were talking about, you can see, go to LinkedIn, type in Happy
I wanna
Cabbage.
see the
type in-
response. Where's the response to that?
Well, if you go through, there are a bunch of comments through there where people are basically talking about, you know, what's happening there. Here, I'll show you some of this. So there is a lot. So this whole
It sounded like that was the same rap as the first response. I want to hear what they sent back. Oh, so this was actually the first post. Wait, let me fucking get this straight.
it's a lot of back and forth. There was like ended up being like 4 or 5 raps between the two of them. So I don't know. I don't have time to go. We don't have time, Dustin.
Okay,
Go through
well,
all these different
yes,
rap
if you're interested in high quality beef, go check out LinkedIn's fucking.
It's a great spot to put it. It was just, it was a good post. They had a lot of different things back and forth. The fact that Darren Weiss played it back, or Darren Weiss played it back and forth with them, and and you got people in the comments who are obviously like talking about it and talking about how it's both cringy, right, but that it's very funny, and that it's fun to see CEOs kind of taking it this way, and someone still having fun in the industry. Happy Cabbage, I think, reaps all the win from this. Shout out to Nathan Wildman, by the way, whoever this guy is. Nathan Wildman, he's the one that made all these AI videos at clarity.video. Looks like you could make some of those. Oh, here's another one there. Hold on. Is this another one? Uh-oh.
I love that image.
Oh, we got another one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Round 2.
I think this is Darren's response to a response that we don't have in AI yet.
Yo, you bringing numbers, I'm bringing the soul. Hashtag Cabbage Club's the vibe, our community's whole. You flexing on
We got a
data,
new
but
owl,
your game's
a different
poor.
owl this
We
year.
got loyal fans, they keep coming back for more. You optimize inventory, that's key. Got customer love, now that's legit.
That's hilarious.
30K
Optimize
revenue.
inventory.
You posting stats, we building relationships, real talks, no chats.
Darren
You
Weiss.
talk future tech, but you're missing the heart. Our strains and our swag, they're a work of art. IS system.
You think Darren Weiss wrote these lyrics?
But our secret source is the people, not the
You think he
few.
sat down at a computer and wrote these out?
All on the rise, but our clubs got the culture that money
I want
can't
those
buy.
fans.
Predicting conversions, personalizing each pitch. But our word of mouth, that's a real glitch.
I could beat to it.
Definitely
Also,
hear that East Coast, West Coast vibe.
You say you got brains, but we got the feel. Happy Cabbage might reign, but we got the real. We invest in our people, our growth is organic. While you crunching numbers, we building volcanic. You buried our club, now we rise from the ashes. Let's collab on this game, no need for clashes. Your rhymes are tight, your skills are prime. Let's join forces, make this industry climb. Might drop, but not goodbye. Let's build together, reaching for the sky.
Oh, he ends on a positive note there. I like how he's ending there. Very positive feeling.
Only end positive when you know you lost.
Ooh.
You're like, oh, let's shake hands. Good game, good game, good game, good game. You know? Yeah. Fuck.
It is that way. I like it though. I like what they did. I like that they went all in on it. I like that, especially like that Verano played back. I think that's the best part of that. I think there's a lot. You think you go at Curaleaf like that? True Leave? You think they're coming back with that? Like Verano feels like right in that sweet spot, right? They're big, but not huge. They have some, I'll give you a little Verano taste here of their website, multi-state company, cannabis, obviously kind of company doing their thing all over the place. Bigger company, pretty large. I think I said the same thing 7 times, but I don't think a lot of companies come back like that. I don't think a lot of companies feel that, especially on LinkedIn, which seems so hoity-toity sometimes, and everyone is always kvetching about their industry and blah, blah, blah. So shout out to Happy Cabbage. Shout out to Verano and Darren Weiss for going back and forth with it, for putting it out there. Shout out to the internet for taking their lyrics and putting them to AI. Just the whole thing.
We're living in a very golden time right now.
Hell yeah. Like the fact that that could be made. I remember a long time ago listening to like a radio show or even like a Howard Stern, and sometimes someone on the internet would animate one of their bits. And I'm like, God, it must be so hard to do and so long. And it probably was back then. Nowadays, you just toss a clip in, hit a button, you get pretty close within a few minutes, right? Give it a few themes to choose from, because there was clearly some parts of that video that didn't make any sense. There was like a baby with a cantaloupe on its head, but I was like, all right, whatever. That happens. But shout out to both of them for being all in, for, doing good vibes on beefs in the industry. Unlike, some of the folks we've seen. In fact, Dustin, we have another beef we got to discuss before we end the show today.
Oh no.
Beef that may not, we'll see. I don't know how it's going to end. I'm curious to see which side of you're on in this particular beef in that way. But let me show you this here. Let me talk to you a little bit about, have you heard of, and it sounds like a head shop, Glass House Brands. Are you familiar with that company in California?
I am, but what I'm seeing right now is SF Gate. Doesn't that sound like fucked up? Isn't that like, I don't know if I trust my news source from a place called FS Gate. That's like Pizzagate, Watergate. What's the other gates that we've seen? What
is the gate? I don't know. What it must be a term for, we must so uneducated folks you're listening to right now. The term for, so it's the San Francisco Gate is what it is, but I'm with you. I think SF Gate does sound like something that's a little controversial. You may hear about it on the dark web. Clearly, Joe Rogan has a guest that is talking about it. It feels very right-wing conspiracy theory. The SF Gate that's happening right now. You're gonna get my jokes. You're gonna go fire them, get red-faced. They are out there at the SF Gate, and they are sitting there. And there's lots of people, and they are assets, and all of them are going. Oh, it hurts my throat to do the Alex Jones. I can do a decent Alex Jones when I get going. So, SF Gate, it's happening right now in our country. Unfair. I demand better. Probably hot mic that thing all over the place. Sorry, folks. Sorry for your volume. Sorry for your speakers. Sorry for your ear holes.
Oh my goodness.
So, are you familiar with Glass House? Have you heard of them? They're, I would think you may be, because they're one of the biggest producers of cannabis in the world. 2 million square feet facility currently in California. They're looking to increase to 5 million square feet within the next 2 years. They have about roughly 250,000. I lied. 750,000, 750,000 plants in the ground. They're probably hydroponically sped up somewhere in the facility. They push out about 300 pounds of pot a year.
300,000
300,000 pounds. My bad. 300,000 pounds of pot a year. 750,000 plants in the ground. Going to double times 5, 2.5% where they're at. So if that's math adds up, that's about 1 million pounds and about, give or take 1.5, almost 2 million plants in the ground. Yeah, almost 2 million plants in the ground and 1 million pounds of pot every year.
That's fucking crazy.
Every year.
I can't even visualize that.
In a time when California has all these big boys moving out, and this is a smaller company that did big, right? And, it got big the right way, making people mad, of course, along the way. So, in the 5.3 billion cannabis market there. So everyone feels like they get mad though, because when you start to have that kind of scale, well, guess what you can do? When you have that kind of size, you're able to bottom out the prices because you grow so much weed that you're like, I have the volume to sell. They got prices. Everyone, and we know this industry purchases off cost and convenience. And if you got the cheapest weed and it's passing the test, the smoke test, the high test, like it works, then you're going to keep going back for that. So a lot of people are mad saying that Glass House, and this is an article from last year, 2023 in sfgate.com, talking about companies who basically there was a lot of loopholes in the program. There's Graham Farrar, the co-founder. A lot of loopholes in the program of California's cannabis program. We've had lots of guests, Andrew D'Angelo more talking about that. They found some loopholes. They grew big, right? And they grew a lot of weed. Right. And now they sell a lot of weed. Do we feel bad for the rest of the people? Am I angry at Glass House for this? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't feel like they've done anything more than just bought land and purchased a lot of weed. And when you do the research, there's not a ton of negative stuff about them. Are you mad that they got so big so quickly?
I don't know if I'm mad. I mean, like, I don't know what my thoughts are. I'm still trying to visualize 1 million pounds of weed.
That's where they're going to be at. So it started, Farrar and Kazan, an LA cop turned businessman, started with 150,000 square foot greenhouse, got bigger, right? Got a little bigger there. In there, got into the venture capitalist thing, went on the Canadian stock market. That's why people got a little mad. Got a bunch of money, took that cash, bought a huge ass property, and bought things including roof washing robots. Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Positive pressure greenhouses, automated plant handling. So they went big. They went with all this cool mechanical stuff that's out there and AI to help you do what you want to do. And now everyone's mad because they just are huge. And that's huge. And so I think that pisses people off. But at the same point, I don't know if I'm mad about that.
I don't know. I can think back to show 30, 35 in our maybe even before that, show 15, when we were talking about how much square footage some of these companies are owning now around the country, and that consolidation and scaling. I mean, what do you expect it to look like? I mean, if you're going to bitch about MSOs and or you're going to talk about the industry vertically integrating to scale and be efficient, what the fuck does that look like? And it is exactly like Glass House. Here's
the rub then.
Yeah.
So here's the rub. Right. Let me tell you what happened. So Glass House is growing weed, selling a lot of weed. And you just said, I can't imagine what 1 million pounds of weed looks like. California only sells, there's a finite number. Like, we know how many pounds of weed California sells in a year. So if this company already is producing 300,000 pounds a year, the number of what's pounds sold, it's a little higher than that. It's not exponentially higher than that. So you had a company come out there, Catalyst Cannabis Co, Catalyst Cannabis Company, came out and basically said, and where this article talks about the defamation suit that happened. Basically, Cannabis Company,
my favorite type of fucking.
They came out and said, look, bro, if you're growing that much weed, where are you selling it? Where's it being documented? So they went out and said, kind of like a clutch, how do you have this much weed and how do you selling this much weed if there's only a finite amount of poundage of weed sold in California? So clearly your weed is going black market. So all you're doing, Glass House, is growing weed for the black market, right? And compared them, he went all in, compared them to a cartel. Said that he was
fighting
basically putting money out. Glass House came back, probably on LinkedIn. I'm assuming this is where this all started. Maybe this Happy Cabbage Verano turns ugly soon. Started on LinkedIn, I would only assume. Talks about, hey, we go through, our stuff is all through metric. We have never sold a single pound. Well, maybe single pounds, but it doesn't mean we haven't sold single ounces. Never sold a pound. I'll just sell 16 ounces at a time to you, sir. Not about 15 ounces. Right 15 ounces is the max amount of weed you can purchase at one time from us. So we sell pounds. Didn't sell a single pound that did not go through metric. So basically a lawsuit happened where Glass House got major huge. Put this article out in SF Gate. By the way, this came right after that article. So put this article out in sfgate.com that said, it was a positive, glowing article about the founders of Glass House and their exponential rise in the industry. And it did talk about the disputes and how people are accusing them. And then Catalyst Cannabis Co. comes all in and says, hey, starts throwing a little smack, maybe puts a couple social posts out there saying your stuff is all going black market. Do you think a company growing that much weed is selling it all on the legit industry? Do you think there is shady deals happening out there? Is Catalyst trying to put the entire industry on trial? Is Catalyst a company who feels like they're playing it legit and all these other companies, because they're not doing well?
Dude, I think it's an interesting take in California. Do I think California has such a rampant problem as, say, Oklahoma? I don't know, man. I mean, we talked about Oklahoma and how there are plenty of overseas cartels that are guarding the greenhouses with AFKs and fucking have no, English speaking, employees and are in residential areas, and a state that has only visited 15% of, license holders to check them out. And I think when you have scenarios like that, it makes sense that there would be a black market, but I'm always surprised at the idea of the California black market. I'm sure of course it always exists in some capacity, but what the fuck, when weed is that cheap, how does a black market have a chance? How does it have a chance?
I think that's a great point that no one talks a lot. How does the black market have a chance? Because weed's getting super cheap and it's super easy to get.
Yeah, no one wants to go to their bros anymore and sit on the couch and watch fucking Ren and Stimpy for 4 hours because they don't want to walk in the house and walk right back out. They just want to,
I feel like sometimes,
God, I hate it.
Let's put this in perspective. Most industry reports, MJ Biz Daily, New Frontier Data, Cannabis Business Times, when they say the sales of weed, and we'll just do the United States, the sales of weed within the United States, whatever the number is, 2023, for example, it was $30 million, give or take, is how much cannabis was sold across the United States in 2023. Every industry would report then that there is 2/3 more illegal. So the estimates are that there is roughly $90 billion worth of weed sold in the U.S., and the cannabis industry misses out on, say, 66% of sales of legal cannabis. I am not a number expert, and I don't know how much illegal weed is sold. I don't think it's 2/3 more than what is sold legally. I think weed is so easy to get in almost every state you get to. I don't think that double of what we sell legally is happening illegally. You think there's 2/3 more? If there's 30 billion happening, you think there's $60 billion happening on the streets of weed? Now, some of that number is probably stuff like, Mexican shipments of pounds over borders, like $1 billion worth of weed, that kind of stuff, is I feel like where those numbers get inflated. But California, if they do 6 billion, you think there's 12 billion more side deals happening in the state of California?
I have a hard time believing that there's 6
money billion in it, legal
even if you're not paying the taxes on it. I just think that's such a hard sell. I mean, you can pick up a pound in Oklahoma for $400 legally. A pound. How the fuck is the black market guy? I mean, by the time you factor in going and getting gas and driving in your fucking car and carrying it to your house and then your phone bill and then fucking having to sit at the house all day to sell this shit instead of having a real job, it just doesn't seem.
And it's a pound of probably market produced cannabis, so it's going to have some sort of standards to it, even if they're a little lax on some things. So it's not like, a few facts. It probably has a certificate of a COA. So
Yes.
it's not terrible weed. It's not dirt weed.
At least you know something about it.
Yes.
As as opposed to absolutely nothing. So I don't know, man. I think it's an argument and a stats that we like to push out to help encourage legalization. Because, if every state went legal or the nation went legal, we'd have a less of a black market. And it's that push. But I also think, it can't possibly be a push from legal cannabis companies. I don't know how to explain that. I think it seems archaic to be thinking that, to be presenting it in that way. And is it a fight against 280E? Is it a fight against some of these other things where they're arguing the tax? They're able to spit those numbers because it makes the argument for not being taxed as high in the legal market a better argument to make. Does that make sense?
It does, but it's a question that no one has the right answer to, because that's that battle that just keeps happening.
Well, where the fuck are the cartels selling this if 60% of the states have legal weed?
I don't know. I don't know how California has another 12 billion illegal weed sold on top of the 6 billion legally sold.
Okay, well, remember that map? Remember, 50 episodes ago when we talked about the illegal greenhouses next to the legal greenhouses that are using up all the water and stuff, and they flew the drone over by and created a map of legal and non-legal, fucking pointing out exactly who's who and who's doing things illegally.
I mean, maybe we're naive to that.
A bit of illegal, but I still am not quite sure where they're sending.
And some of the black market weed is what Catalyst is accusing Glass House of, which is growing weed legally, but then distributing it outside of the legal system, right? Like you grow 70% of your weed, you sell through the legal system within California's licensed dispensaries. And the other 30%, fell off the truck, but you still make the sale, right? You're still selling it to dudes on the thing. So this is what happened though. So that gets ugly. It gets a little social media tiff back and forth. Eventually what happens, Dustin, Glass House files a defamation of character suit against Catalyst Cannabis Company. Now, both these companies are located in Long Beach. So about a year ago, this all happens. Catalyst puts all this stuff out there. They put them on blast. Glass House accused them of harassing their vendors. Basically, I'm assuming going into a dispensary and being like, Glass House sucks. That's what I'm assuming, by the way, harassing its vendors means. Because I've been in enough dispensaries to know what that means. It's like, I don't like them. But what happens is they file the lawsuit. A year goes by, a lot of documents, a lot of legal fees. Both companies waste, I would imagine, a tremendous amount of money on lawyers and such. But then Glass House pulls the defamation suit. And I'm going to give you the very succinct version of what happened. Glass House said, Catalyst is broke and can't pay this bill. So we're going to withdraw the lawsuit because when we win, they can't pay us. That's their argument, by the way. And their other thing was they said that Catalyst, in part of the process of gathering information, as you would in any lawsuit, and we got, by the way, Catalyst attorney, speaking of LinkedIn, has been blowing up LinkedIn, Jeff Augustini. Shout out to you, owner of the law office of Jeff Augustini. He is representing Catalyst, and he is on point right now. I don't have time to read you the documentation that he is putting out there right now about this case on blast. But basically, he's saying, hey, we put all these documents in that are normal court things that you'd have to file. Glass House is claiming that you're giving private information about their customers, and Catalyst can't pay the bills, so we're withdrawing the lawsuit. End of the story happens there. So Glass House goes, they fight back and forth because someone made some accusatory claims. A year later, they're both probably less rich than they were because they argued about this publicly over a year, go back and forth. So end of the story, right? It kind of walks away. No one wins. Everybody loses in this case. But it is an interesting thing to think about when companies Happy Cabbage versus Verano, when people start to do things like make a social media claim, right? And that was a fun one that we talked about in the beginning. There are unfun ones like Clutch versus Botanist, like Catalyst versus Glasshouse. But you're seeing kind of the meshing of like these social media barbs and accusations, which then turn into lawsuits, which then turn into, we don't really want to go through this whole lawsuit process. But it's an interesting thing happening in the cannabis industry. You know, I'll never forget being at the OCHBS in 2023, watching Andrew D'Angelo do his presentation, and he talks about the 10 things that happens when a state goes adult use. California's been adult use a couple of years. Keep this in mind, 2018. So they're 6 years in to their market. In the first 3 years, you're going to have more than a handful of lawsuits. This is point number 7 of his presentation. So inevitably, the lawsuits happens every time, every state. I didn't know, and I thought that was a bit of hyperbole when hearing that. Looking at the Botanist v. Clutch happened last week, which is a little barb. And Botanist came out, and basically, we didn't say their reply. Basically, their reply was, we didn't do it.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like, you know, you catch your kid in the act and he's like, nuh-uh, I didn't do it. I did.
But it starts like that. But the lawsuits will happen. We're hearing things in Ohio about biomass being held back. We're hearing, you know, some dirty pool happening as we are on the precipice of selling adult use cannabis in the state. I can only hope that if there is a battle, if there is a, you know, kind of an issue between two companies, I can only hope they settle it in an artistic way. Dance battle, rap battle, beat poetry, rock, paper, scissors. I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling, right? I just hope, Dustin, that they could do it some way, right? Some little way, some easy way. Or just like beat it. Like take each other, wrists, tape them together, give them some knives, fight this shit to the death. That's what I'm talking about, everyone. Fight to the death, because weed is serious.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Because Cannabis podcast every single Wednesday, 4:20 p.m. YouTube, Thursdays, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to video. Dustin Cava, BC Wayman. Dustin, I'll see you next week, buddy.
Later, brother.